This past summer, Dr. Costis Maglaras was appointed the 16th Dean of Columbia Business School. A longtime presence in the Columbia community, he takes over at a pivotal time. Global applications to MBA programs are declining. Rumors of another economic recession abound, and an increasing number of stakeholders are beginning to question whether general management education offers the same career advantages that it did in the last half-century. All of this serves as an intriguing backdrop as the business school prepares to move to its new home on Columbia's Manhattanville campus. I had the chance to sit down with Dean Maglaras to learn more about his journey to becoming dean, his plan to combat the many disruptive forces challenging business schools today, and what he sees as most important for the future of Columbia Business School. So let's look to the end of your very long, amazing tenure. What does success look like at that point if you've actually gotten to do the job that you wanted to do?
So I think we have an opportunity for the school to truly be considered as one of the premier business school. We have the ability to be known for having the most innovative curriculum, offer our students sort of the most experiential learning that is facilitated by the fact that we're in New York, and raise the thought leadership of our faculty, the visibility of the work that we do here.
What scares you about the job?
It's a busy job. There are a lot of things to be done. And my biggest fear, let's say, is that you end up doing the job without actually moving the school forward. So, I'm sort of compulsively trying to protect time and mind share to make sure that I actually do the things that I really wanted to do. I do think it's crucially important that business schools evolve. The nature of business is changing. The types of jobs that our students have to do is changing. The types of skills that they need to have in order to be relevant and successful has to change. So it's important that business schools innovate in order to stay both relevant and extremely valuable. That 10 years ago, it would have been crazy to put a guy like me to become dean, and maybe 10 years from now, it will be too late. And I'm a trained engineer, and I've worked in engineering for 30 years, but I've also been at the business school for 21. And having sort of native understanding of what engineering can do and how it can help businesses, it's actually useful. I bring to the table knowledge about the types of things that are changing how businesses function, and hopefully I can help navigate how we integrate them into the curriculum in the best possible way. So I think it's an exciting opportunity.
When I think about what makes someone successful in the business world, there becomes a point in everyone's career where it's not enough to be a really smart subject matter expert, but you actually have to transfer to being a leader. How do you think about how to prepare people to truly lead going forward once they reach that point in their career?
Let me step back and say a couple of things about what's going on right now. So businesses are really changing how they function. You know that from experience. Technology is more important. Data is both abundant and is being used through innovative sort of algorithms and analytics. And people are using this, businesses are using that across industries to essentially come up with new products or services, evaluate strategies, measure performance, and what have you. What that means for our students is that we need to essentially train our students to understand how technology, data, and analytics are useful in businesses, but then eventually give them the training to be able to manage and lead within that environment. The type of jobs that the MBA students are going to take now are actually different than the ones that they were getting even 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. So it used to be that our graduates will leave the school and they will go into business settings and they would work with other business school graduates to essentially solve business problems. Mm-hmm. That's probably familiar with what you did. Yep. And it's familiar to what most of our graduates were doing. And today, when they leave the business school, they again go and work in teams. But these teams don't have 6 MBA graduates. They have a couple of engineers or analytics experts or data scientists. They have maybe a designer, a user experience designer, or somebody coming up with a user interface to best visualize data so that we can make better decisions. Uh, so we need our students to actually be prepared to contribute in that team dynamic and then manage and lead in that environment.
How do you think about bringing alumni along with you as you go towards achieving your vision?
Let me tell you about two things that we want to give back to the alums. We're going to launch a lifelong learning initiative. So we're going to take all of the curricular innovation that we do here at the school, we're going to turn it around and offer it online to our alums. And we're going to do that in a heavily subsidized manner. So this is not about monetizing these courses. This is about taking everything that we think is important today, that we teach in the classroom to our students. These are the skill sets that we think are the most useful, let's say, for people to succeed in their careers, and then just make it available to the alums. The second thing is I want us to connect more in our thought leadership or our research with our students and alums. Our faculty work on amazing stuff. They come up with amazing ideas, they're impactful, influential, but oftentimes the best ideas that we have in our heads are never communicated to our students and alums. So we're going to start doing some sort of breakfasts, we're going to start doing dinners, we're going to start doing podcasts. And in some sense, when we have interesting ideas to share, we'll just figure out mechanisms through which to share them with our students and our alums. So I think these are ways in which to engage with them outside of philanthropy, which is important as well.
How are you thinking about how Columbia can prepare a more diverse set of leaders to graduate in the future?
We have a pretty diverse class that we try to recruit every year. It's about 40%, a little bit more than that, female, about 40% international. One of the first things I did is I appointed a new vice dean, which is a senior faculty member for diversity, equity, and inclusion. My good friend Geeta Johar took over that role. She's amazing. We have some of the leading scholars on diversity here in the building that are really also educating the dialogue within the school and outside in corporations. And one of the first things that we're doing with Geeta is really measuring. You need to start measuring everything that we do in that area. And it has to do with faculty, it has to do with students, it has to do with staff, it has to do with the cases that we teach to our students, it has to do with the speakers that we bring in, with the adjunct professors that we bring in. Let's just start measuring how we're doing. And everything that you measure, eventually you change. So another thing we're trying is we're going to try to do some outreach in local high schools and talk to students, kids, when they're, let's say, in the 9th grade, 10th grade, and allow them to think about careers in business.
What I love about what I'm hearing from you is you fully understand there is no silver bullet to diversity. And I think a lot of people are trying to solve for it in a year or two to meet a benchmark. And that's never going to happen. It's a long, long pipeline to make it happen. And thinking about Columbia going out and talking to 9th and 10th graders, that is really, really exciting. So as an alumna, I have read a lot about Manhattanville. I've seen a lot about it. I know there's been a lot of money raised for it, but I really don't know what it means to me or the alumni base as a whole.
So Manhattanville, for us now, is a reality. We're going to be moving into the Kravis and the Perlman buildings. And, when you walk in, it's just going to be so different. The space is so new. So it's going to be so open, so collaborative. We're going to be able to do things that we were never capable of doing. The students will have more space to work together. You probably remember that when you were a student here, there is no breakout rooms. There is no place to actually go and work with your fellow students. There will be places where they can collaborate with students from other schools. There will be amazing space for us to do executive education or to have interesting events with thought leaders. And, there's going to be a mixing between students and teaching and faculty. It's truly an amazing new beginning for the school.
So this has been incredibly helpful for me, and I hope really exciting for all the alumni that watch.
Everything we do, right? Everything we do is to do two things. One is to provide the best possible education to our students and alums, and two, excel in our thought leadership and impact out in the world. And hopefully, we'll do that in a way that is transformational for all of us. It's kind of fun.
It's just been such a pleasure to learn more about you, and we are so excited to see what impact you bring to the school. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much for your time, Kate.